Called Scottsboro work session Monday, March 14th to order. The invitation given by Gary Stewart and pledge of allegiance given by myself.
Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for another beautiful day. We thank you for the many blessings you've given us. We ask now that you watch over these proceedings and they'll be pleasing in your sight. We ask that you watch over the employees and citizens of Scottsboro as they go about their daily lives. We ask now that you bring military home safely to their families. Guard, guide, and direct us so in the end we may all come to thee. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is Marilyn Stevens with the Teen Center. Ms. Stevens.
I'm Marilyn Stevens. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here representing the Boys and Girls Club of North Alabama Board and Northeastern Street Church of Christ. We're planning to open a teen center this summer. The teen center will be provide a structured after-school environment for teens ages 13 through 18 as a place to go for studying, counseling, tutoring, games, and just overall socializing and relaxing in a safe, wholesome environment. The center will be fully chaperoned, and we feel this is needed at this time to provide a safe environment for our children and keep them off the streets. We won't take anything away from the rec com because the rec com still has swimming, the gym, the skate park, and all those things that the center won't have. But we still feel like this is needed for all teens in those age ranges to have some place to go. Now, we've secured the old 2J's restaurant on Chestnut Street. It's a really good location, and for the building to have been empty as long as it has, it is in very good condition. However, there are a few necessary repairs that need to be done, and we're here today to ask you for your assistance with those repairs. I have a list that we've made of the repairs that need to be done, the major repairs, and I'll give you all a copy. The major item is the heating and cooling unit. The one that was there has gone missing. The shell is there, but there's no unit. So that's a major item that needs to be replaced. Mayor Potter got estimates, and the lower one I think was $5,000.
It's 5,900 for the water system.
So that's a major thing that needs to be done before we can pretty much do anything else. So if we would really appreciate it if you all could help us with all of it, but whatever you can do to help us get in the building, we appreciate it. Do you have any questions?
Do you have any other estimates on the cost of anything else other than the getting your unit?
Not at this time.
Mr. Stevens and the other lady, I can't think of her name.
Ms. Woods.
Yeah, came to see me a couple of months back and gave me the key for her to look at the building and told them that, you know, the city does on that building. They had requested for us to allow them to use that, and I told them they have to come before the council for y'all's approval. And then they went, and I think it got over 2 or 3 times and looked at it, and they came up with this list. The only major part that I knew of was the heating and air had been removed, and I got 2 or 3 estimates for that, and I think the low one was around 5,900. So, is some of these repairs things that y'all could do, or were you planning on doing, or is just you looking for the city to just take care of all this? I guess that's the question too.
I guess some of it's things that we could do, but if
Sure.
the city would be gracious enough to help
To
us.
do what we could, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Could we not kind of wait about making a decision on this and get someone to look at all this, get us estimates on all this? Because it's kind of an open-ended thing. It's really dangerous for all of us. So we really need to know how much everything's going to cost for it.
Of course, we didn't have lights on, so we did what we saw, without electricity.
But I'm sure whomever does estimates could go in the daylight and daytime and call the city girl and make the give you an estimate of the entire project. That's my opinion.
I can get someone to maybe give them some estimates or go up there and meet with them. So, especially when you talk about cutting the office or kitchen in half for office space, show them exactly what you want. So that might be the best thing too, just to get. This is the first time I've seen the entire list, so we can get someone to go up there and give us some estimates for the entire project if that's what y'all want. So, I guess the first thing is maybe if you all agree on to be able to use it, I guess, and then we can get the prices, or we can do it all at the same time, and I'll be glad to get the estimates. Okay? Because that's part of it. You have to agree to approve. Yes.
Ms. Stevens, just a couple of questions.
Okay.
Would y'all be proposing to put this under the auspices of the current Boys and Girls Club contract?
Yes.
For teenagers?
Yes.
So you wouldn't necessarily have people from 8 to 18?
Right.
Is there currently...
It's kind of awkward to have 5-year-olds with 18-year-olds.
It's been my 10-year-olds and 8-year-olds attending
Mm-hmm.
Boys and Girls Club. Do you have a waiting list right now?
No.
Is that something y'all can
We
do
have,
while...
Because some of the teams you see here are some of the ones that would be attending.
Is that something that you could work on while the mayor is having estimates done and get information to us of interest and things of that nature?
We can do that.
Any other questions?
And then I guess the meeting today, there was some discussion about possibly doing some of this through either grant opportunities or even just some of the labor, volunteer labor. Is that still possible? I guess once the mayor gets together with whoever to try to see what all is needed, but is that still an option as far as some of the, I guess some of the light labor that can be done
Yes.
without having to?
A lot of this stuff, we have a guy who does maintenance, so a lot of this could be done by him, I think, just because it doesn't look like any major type stuff except for the body and the kitchen.
Any other questions? We'll put it on the agenda tonight for the use of the building, and for the mayor to get the estimates and go from there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item is Keller logging.
Good afternoon. I'm Scotty Fleming. This is Clint Black, the Keller Lumber Company. As some of you may know, about 4 years ago, we and did a pine plantation or natural pine stand thinning on Goose Pond Island. Happy to report to you, we did an inspection of that recently, and that stand is now healthy and productive. And we feel like we've increased the wildlife habitat and many other factors of that being a healthy managed stand. One of our issues that we had in doing that project for the city was access. Some of you guys may already know that it's basically a landlocked parcel. We were not successful at our first attempt to get in there, but we were able to negotiate with TVA and do a temporary easement, and that's how we accessed the pine plantation. Before I say plantation, it's an even-aged pine stand. What we would like to present to you today, Mr. Keller and Keller has recently purchased the adjoining property that allows for much better access for us to get into the city property on Goose Pond Island. We will be doing a management plan on our property there, and we would like to propose to you that we expand upon the original pine theme project that we did a few years back into looking at some of the mature hardwood stands and mature hardwood and pine stands that are on the island. First, let me say it's a very diverse property. I mean, there's all kinds of different stand types on it. I'm not talking about going in and doing any further activities right now on the stands that we did about 4 years ago. But the parts of the property that we couldn't access or that we weren't able to bring to you a proposal on at that time. We feel like that it would be a very wise management approach to salvage storm damaged timber on all of that property. And that's kind of scattered from storms that happened in 2011 and up till now. We would like to recommend to you that you selectively harvest mature hardwood trees that are 18 inches in diameter and up, which is the same type of management approach that we will be doing to our land. We will be harvesting, and we suggest that you guys harvest all mature pine timber. Again, not the pine stands that we thin, those are mid-rotation, but there are scattered areas of old growth pine in and around the island. Some trees 70, 80 years old, and some over 100 years old in pockets on the island. Those are usually the first types of trees to be susceptible to pine and just mortality in general. There's areas on the island that don't have really good soil conditions, but they have really good species composition. It takes a lot more moisture and sunlight to grow a tree to its full extent on poor soil conditions. So there are some areas on the island that don't necessarily need to be harvested heavily, but need to be opened up then, like we would do a pine stand, but now we're referring to the hardwood stand. There's also a good bit of cedar scattered here and there in pockets on the island that's mature. Could generate significant revenue to the city for uses I'm sure that you guys could put it forth too. Just to give you a rough idea, the mature stands that I'm talking about, the mature hardwood stands and the mature pine hardwood stands, consist of about 60 acres of the island, several hundred acres. And the hardwood stands that I'm talking about that are in relatively poor soil conditions that need thinning is about 40 to 50 acres in a different location. And then obviously that leaves a lot of acres there that I've not really brought to you and discussed. It's 400 or 500 acres above the 600 foot. There's parts of that property that don't need just a flat management plan. Some areas don't need anything on the mountain. That's the reason these acres don't add up to the total property ownership. There are areas of non-hardwood stands that we don't think need anything. We wouldn't do anything if it was ours. So we're kind of omitting those and just letting that be free to grow as we would manage our own land. Clint's got kind of just a short, brief list of these recommendations that I brought to your attention. Like all of you can just take some time and look over that. Feel free to ask any questions you may have or to take some time and put together a list of concerns and questions you guys may have. we would love to have the opportunity, like I said, to expand upon our original forest management plan to you guys. And we see there are practices on the island that if we own the property as wise managers of forest land that we would do, that would enhance the timber growth in the and the wildlife and many other factors that are generated from wise land management. Any questions? Mr. King, you have any questions?
You would not be proposing any trees below the 600-foot.
That's correct.
And you would not be proposing to do any kind of clear cut.
That's correct.
Would y'all anticipate getting, if the council were interested, getting back with a more in-depth proposal showing the areas that you're talking about?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. We would be glad to take the opportunity to spend some more time on the island to prepare some digitized maps that we can bring and show you the areas that I'm talking about, where you can look at it, and so we can better identify those needs. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
I have a question. You have in your notes how much your company paid the city for phase 1?
We believe it was in the neighborhood of $28,000. Yes, sir.
And if you did this again, phase 2, whatever, would the pine basically be the same price going up?
I believe it would be significantly more. We're talking about a much broader area, and we're talking about mature timber harvesting, older growth timber harvesting. The pine plantation management is a management activity designed to enhance the growth of residual timber. So the first phase was to clean and improve the stand rather than the harvest of mature timber. In other words, we left the more valuable trees standing on that first phase, on those pine stand tops, and we were taking out the stuff that created an overcrowding effect on those pine stands.
Could you give us an idea of the comparison of price on pine versus pulpwood?
Yes, sir. Pine pulpwood at that time, so let me say this, we were limited at that time due to right of way and access. We could only access the property through TVA, through a lowland, and it was very difficult for
We tried to do the same thing, and we had the same problem.
Right. So because we were restricted to the summer months due to the access, the price was a little lower. I think it was between $4 and $5 a ton for pine pulpwood. Had we had the access we have now, that would have been. In fact, I believe our original contract with you guys 4 years ago had a winter price in the summer, and even then the winter price was better because you were marketing the wood when there was a need rather than begging to sell it in the summer. All of the practices we're proposing now, because we own the property that we could not cross when we did the pine stand, we have better access. So there will be a better rate to you guys. It will be, we have a proposed contract. I'm sure we can go a little bit to better answer your question. Pine pulpwood is at $565 in our proposal. Hardwood pulpwood is $680 per ton. That's the pulpwood. There were no pine logs harvested under our first program because, again, we were just taking out the undesirables, the smaller stuff to allow for better growth. But hardwood grade logs, that we're talking about harvesting now, usually we do that on a percentage of the delivered value. And the type of hardwood timber you have on average would probably bring, one load would probably bring $600 to $800 per load to the city's part. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Next item is to discuss the resolution to award the bid for supplies and materials for mosquito spraying program. A.
few weeks back, we had talked about the probability of having to increase our presence or activities on mosquito spraying. I had put include in your packet what we feel that we're going to need based on what we know right now. And if you go down to there, I've got 4 items that are listed, and beside each item is the approximate cost. And it's going to be to spray for 2 trucks 4 days a week. And that's going to be based on the same routes as solid waste runs on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And those are the routes that we will be running. So whatever day your garbage runs, that's what day that we would spray for mosquitoes. That keeps saying that's for us and people too. There was a question by Councilman Smith last time about activity that we've been doing in the past versus activity that the council is wanting us to look at now. What happened is there are some state agencies now involved in mosquito spray and don't allow you to spray at random. You've got to survey. Now that can be done 1 or 2 or 3 different ways. What you'll notice on the bottom of the program that we're proposing, we have mosquito traps, and those will be placed at 4 different areas in town on each route. And then we'll check these traps weekly to make sure that there are mosquitoes. If there are no mosquitoes, then we're not allowed to spray. So you've got to have a survey done before you're allowed to spray.
Is there any questions for you? On the second page that you included, are those the prices based on the lowest bid, or what are these prices based on?
It is. Those are the prices based on plus the quantities that we think we're going to be using. That will run a 7-month program, April through October. And we may have to start, actually I think we're probably going to have to start soon. The labor, we'll try to do everything we can to live within the budget that we already have at the Public Works Department. The mosquito traps will be some of the first things that we need so that we can get them in place so that we can justify and keep records that there are mosquitoes in the area.
Does anyone else have any questions for Eddie?
Probably, of all the things that we do, this is one thing that every citizen in this town is affected by. I don't know of anyone that hasn't been bitten by mosquitoes. And if they're going to be carrying disease, I talked to Eddie a number of times, including today, and he says that he can do certain things to make it where they can do the whole town. And I think we need to do the whole town. I think we need to do it starting immediately because they're already out swarming, and that way it does affect everyone and it helps everyone in the whole town. So whatever we spend on it, people are getting their money's worth, including the council.
What we're in the process of doing now, and we have been for the last several weeks, is a large side program where we go behind people's houses and on their properties and in their ditches behind their houses. And we're trying to get kill the mosquitoes while they're in the larva phase rather than letting them hatch out. And you see us behind people's houses and everything and in ditches around. That's what we're doing. We're putting out the pellets and the briquettes and the granules now, trying to get ahead because there are a lot of places in Scottsboro that holds water, and especially this time of year. And there's a lot of patches of woods in town. And we're on those properties placing in the larvicide to try to kill them. The same way as the beaver dams, we try to keep beaver dams torn down all over Scottsboro too, because that water there is holding a lot of mosquitoes too. So we're in all the backwaters around, and we're in properties all around town, making sure that we can kill all we can.
Mr. Blizzard, you said that the traps have to have a certain amount in them before you can spray. The 100 or 210 gallons, is that enough to spray for the time period that you're talking about?
It is.
Are you going to order all of that at one time?
No.
So theoretically, if the traps weren't full, you wouldn't need the full 210 gallons.
What the traps will do
We need
is...
a budget for it, but theoretically we would.
Right, we'll order as we proceed, and maybe stay a month ahead on our ordering. We'll keep a supply, at least a month's supply on hand in case. I do anticipate from talking to the state agencies that we're dealing with here that there's going to be a lot of mosquito spraying this year all over. And
I guess one of the reasons I asked that question is there a possibility that you would need more?
there's a possibility, yes.
Didn't you say today when we were talking that you had a number, a couple of hundred mosquitoes or something in the trap? It doesn't have to be full, though. Just
No,
a certain
no.
number that you-
We just have to show that there were mosquitoes in the area. It also allows us to identify the type of mosquito that it is. And if we can get the mosquitoes in the trap, then we can identify what type of mosquitoes. Whether it will be the Aedes mosquito that carries the Zika virus, we'll be able to identify in these traps. I think that's better. The only other survey method that you can use is you go out in a certain area and you stand for 20 minutes and you count the mosquitoes that light up. Or we wait for someone to call us and say there's mosquitoes in my house, spray them. So we have to have justification to spray this chemical. And the best thing that I think for all of us is going to be the mosquito traps, and it allows us to identify the mosquitoes.
It's four in four corners of the city, correct, basically?
Yes, sir.
But we'll put it on tonight's agenda for a budget amendment and also award bid to that.